Okay, so we're going to go over these rotations notes. And so if you think about the word rotate, to go in a rotation, if I said rotate 360 degrees, you would turn your body around in a circle, right? When you rotate, you move around in a circle. And so that's what we're going to do with these images. For the rotation, there are two elements that you need that are going to control the rotation. So we'll fill in these two blanks right here. The first one that you need is a center of rotation. So you need a point that you're going to rotate around. And then you also need the angle of rotation. So that tells you how far around you go. So like when I said if you rotate yourself 360 degrees, that would be your angle of rotation. If I said rotate 180, you would basically turn around, right? That's a half circle, 180 degrees. So those are the two things you need to rotate. Next it says the movement of a rotation follows a blank. It follows a circular motion. So when you rotate, you move around in a circle. This will also follow a circular motion as well. So now the first section says rotate the pre-image 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. Now here, when it says about the origin, that's telling me that the origin is the center of rotation. Now if I go 90 degrees counterclockwise, so counterclockwise is moving backwards around a clock and it's moving to the left. If I go 90 counterclockwise, that is the same as going 270 clockwise. So that would be the same. If I go 90 degrees to the left, it's the same as going 270 to the right. So we say that these two are the same and they follow the same rule. And so the rule for rotating 90 degrees counterclockwise is that the pre-image x, y becomes negative y. Remember, negative, it doesn't mean it becomes negative. It means it changes sign. Negative y, comma, x. And now that rule will work for all of the points if I want to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I've got an image right here, and we're going to rotate this one. I'm going to start by just labeling the points where they are now. So A is at the ordered pair 1, 2. B is at 3, 5. And C is over at 6, 1. And so now I'm going to use this rule to rotate them. So starting with A, which is at 1, 2, right? I've got 1, 2 as my point of the pre-image, and I want to rotate it. The rule tells me that in the new ordered pair, y, whatever y used to be, is going to be what goes first, and I will change the sign. So before, y was 2, and now I'm going to put that first and make it a negative 2. And then x comes second. So before x was 1, and now x goes second. So A prime should be at negative 2, 1. So I'm going to plot that over here. I'm going to go over on the graph to negative 2 and up to 1. And that's A prime. Remember to list them accordingly, right? We have to list it A prime, B prime, C prime. Now for B, I'm starting with the ordered pair. Starting with the ordered pair 3, 5 as the pre-image. And so now y comes to the front and changes sign, so it becomes negative 5, and x goes to the back. So B prime should be at negative 5, 3. So I'll go ahead over and graph that, negative 5, up 3. There's the point for B prime. And now the last one, C. C right now is at 6, 1. There's the pre-image. And when I rotate it, it will become negative 1, 6. And that's where C prime should go. So we'll go over here, go to negative 1, up to 6, There's C prime, and I'll connect all my lines. To make our image the rotated triangle. So that's how we do 90 degrees counterclockwise. But what if we take the same one and rotate it 180 degrees counterclockwise? And now for this one, if I go 180 degrees, 180 degrees is half a circle, right? So 180, whether I go counterclockwise or clockwise, will always take me around halfway. So 180 counterclockwise is the same as 180 clockwise. Now the rule for 180 is that the pre-image xy becomes the image negative x, negative y. And remember, it means they change sign, not that they are necessarily going to be negative. Now I have the same ordered pairs as before. A is at 1, 2. B is at 3, 5. And C is at 6, 1. And so now we'll start by trying to find A prime. So A right now is at 1, 2. And it's going to become, I just changed the sign, so negative 1, negative 2. And that's where A prime should go. I'll go ahead over and plot that. We're at negative 1, negative 2. That's right here. Here's A prime. See if you can come up with B prime and C prime now on your own. Pause the video and then unpause to see the answers. All right, so for B prime, it should be at negative 3, comma, negative 5, because again, we're just switching the signs. So I go to negative 3, negative 5. There's B prime. And the last one, C prime, should be, oh my goodness, sorry about that, at negative 6, negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead over to negative 6, negative 1. Here we go, C prime. And now I connect the dots. And there is our image, right? A prime, B prime, C prime is the rotated triangle. Notice how when it rotates, it moves around on the grid, but the triangle itself also is spinning. It's like it spins, it moves around the grid in a circle, and then it also itself spins in a circle. So like point C right here, point C moved over to like the left side. So it spun around and around to here. B spun around, and A spun around as well, right? Because over in the first example, C spun up here, and then it spins around again. So notice how it kind of moves, but it also itself is spinning as it moves as well. All right, so let's go ahead and look at 3, which is to rotate 270 degrees counterclockwise. 270 counterclockwise is the same as rotating 90 degrees clockwise. The rule for this rotation is that our pre-image xy becomes y, comma, negative x. So this time it's the x that changes signs. Now again, these points are at the same place as before. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, 1. And we're going to follow this rule to find the new points. So A in the pre-image is at 1, 2. When I rotate it, the y comes first, so it'll be 2, comma, and then the x goes second, and I change the sign, so it becomes negative 1. So A prime should be at 2, comma, negative 1. I'm going to go put that on my graph. So 2, negative 1 is right here, A prime. For B, again, I've got 3, 5. And it'll become 5, comma, negative 3. So there's our new ordered pair. I'm going to plot it over here. Go to 5, down 3, there's B prime. And the last one, C, in the pre-image is at 6, 1. And that will become 1, comma, negative 6. So I'll plot C prime at 1, negative 6, right there, C prime. Oops, I'll write it up here for us as well. And connect those points. And there's the rotated triangle 270 degrees, right? And we notice B has transformed to here, over here, all the way around here. See how this triangle has also twisted on itself as well. And so those are the 3 common rotations you will need to know. Also notice the assumption is always going to be that we're talking counterclockwise. So we will almost always list them counterclockwise. And if for some reason the direction is not listed, it doesn't tell you clockwise or counterclockwise, we always assume that it's counter. Okay? So we'll always assume counterclockwise. But you should know that this also relates to the corresponding clockwise rotation as well. Now, on this page, the most important thing that you need to know are all of the rules. The rules are what's going to help you the most. So make sure you know these rules for all 3 of the rotations.